All right, let's just jump right in. We've been taught our whole lives that if we just explain ourselves, people will understand us and everything will be okay. But what if that's a complete lie? What if the very act of defending yourself is actually you giving up all your power? Today, we're going to unpack a pretty radical Machiavellian idea. To truly hold your ground, you must never, ever explain yourself.
Just let that sink in for a second. The moment you start giving reasons, making excuses, or trying to justify your actions, it's over. You've lost. This single idea completely flips everything we think we know about handling criticism or conflict.
And that's the big question, right? If defending yourself is the losing move, then what does a winning move even look like? Well, it's not about getting louder or more aggressive. It's about a complete shift in your strategy, from being reactive to being in total control.
So first things first, we have to understand the trap itself. This urge we all have to defend ourselves, it feels so natural, so right. But in reality, it's a psychological trap that's been set for you, and you're the one who willingly walks into it.
This courtroom metaphor is just perfect. Think about it. The second you say, "No, wait, that's not what I meant," you've basically accepted that their accusation is legitimate enough to deserve a response. You've made them the judge, and you're now the defendant on trial. You've just handed them all the power on a silver platter.
And that brings us to this key concept, the frame. Every single conversation you have has a frame. It's the unspoken power dynamic, the invisible rules of engagement. When you defend yourself, you're agreeing to play the game inside their frame, by their rules. The real goal is to never step into their frame in the first place, or even better, to make them step into yours.
Okay, so why do we do this? Why is this instinct to defend so baked into our DNA? Well, it's not some personal flaw you have. It's actually a piece of programming we all got when we were kids.
You know, it all starts when you're little. You learn really fast that if you explain to your parents or your teacher why you did something, you might get in less trouble. Explanation equals safety. The problem is, we never stop. As adults, we keep putting everyone, our boss, our partner, even random strangers, into that judge role, and we start pleading our case to people who have zero actual authority over us. And honestly, it just screams weakness.
Machiavelli had that famous line about it being better to be feared than loved. Well, a modern way to think about that in our everyday lives is this. It's so much safer to be respected than to be understood. See, when you're constantly chasing understanding, you come off as needy. But when you command respect, you come off as powerful. All right, enough about the problem. Let's get into the good stuff, the solutions. Here are 3 super practical, kind of sneaky Machiavellian techniques you can use the very next time you feel someone trying to put you on the defensive.
Just look at the difference here. Someone calls you selfish. The normal response is this frantic scramble, right? You list all the evidence of how not selfish you are. It's weak. The Machiavellian response? Absolute silence. Just steady eye contact and nothing.
This is technique number 1, the void. We're talking about weaponized silence. Most people are terrified of silence in a tense situation. It creates this psychological vacuum, and by refusing to fill it, you force the other person to deal with the awkward tension they created. You will be shocked at how often they start rambling, trying to fill the void, and end up defending themselves to you. This is exactly what it feels like for them. An attack needs a solid target to hit. When you offer nothing, no resistance, no defense, their accusation just passes right through you. They're the one left swinging in air, completely off balance.
Okay, on to technique number 2, agree and amplify. This one is like verbal Aikido. Instead of fighting their attack, you grab their energy and you pull it forward, exaggerating it so much that it becomes completely absurd. I mean, this is a brilliant example. Somebody calls you greedy. Instead of arguing, you blow it up into a cartoon. What does that do? It instantly shows them you are not the least bit insecure about their accusation. You've just turned their weapon into a punchline, and in doing so, you've shown them who's really in control of the situation.
And finally, the most advanced technique of all, the reframe. You got to remember, the person asking the questions is the one in control. This move completely flips that. You stop being the one answering the questions, and you become the one analyzing the questioner.
Just feel the power shift here. Why are you always so late? The defensive answer, oh, there was traffic, accepts their frame. You agree that your lateness is the problem. But the reframe? Why does my arrival time affect your mood so deeply? Whoa, now the spotlight is on their emotional state. They are the one on the back foot, needing to explain themselves. Game changed.
Now I have to be really clear about something.
None of this works if you're just reading lines from a script. If you try one of these but your voice is shaking and you're terrified inside, you've already lost. This isn't about tactics, it's about mastering your own inner game.
And this is the absolute heart of it. An accusation only stings you if, deep down, some part of you is afraid it might be true. If someone calls you lazy and you immediately get defensive, it's probably because you're touching on a hidden insecurity you have about your own work ethic.
So, the ultimate defense isn't some witty comeback. It's knowing yourself so completely, your strengths, your flaws, all of it, that nothing anyone says can shake you. When you've already accepted your own imperfections, nobody can use them as a weapon against you. Their words just become noise.
So how do you even start to build this kind of inner strength? Well, it takes practice. So I want to give you a really simple, practical challenge you can start doing, like right now.
It's called the no defense game. For 7 days, just 1 week, you are not allowed to explain or justify yourself at all. If you're late, you just say, I'm late. If you make a mistake, you say, I made a mistake. That's it. No story, no excuses. And yes, it is going to feel so uncomfortable. You're going to have this burning urge to fix what they're thinking about you. Your job is to just sit with that feeling and let it go.
And what you're going to find is fascinating. People are magnetically drawn to certainty. And there is nothing in this world that projects more certainty than someone who feels absolutely no need to justify their own existence. It's incredibly rare, and because of that, it's incredibly powerful.
Which really brings us to the final and most important question. This isn't just about winning arguments or power plays, it's about finding out who you really are. When you finally strip away that constant performance, that need to be understood and approved of, who's left? That is the person you're really looking for.